Hello world! Welcome back to Mr. T Teaches. Today we're going to be exploring why Gen Z needs Bitcoin, what problems Gen Z specifically faces more than any other generation, and how we can overcome these problems by saving in a hard money. If you've been enjoying the content so far, please make sure to subscribe. It is very much appreciated as a new channel trying to expand this beautiful knowledge about Bitcoin. The main issue and main complaint I see financially among Gen Z is that we're never going to be able to buy a house. We're priced out. Homes are unaffordable and we feel locked out. This is because there are people all over the country, all over the world, using real estate as a savings vehicle, as an investment, when it's meant to be a living space, a shelter. The prices are inflated. They're way more than they should be, way more than the actual value that the shelter is worth, because they're flooded with investments from corporations and wealthy investors that can afford all of the real estate. This past year and currently, the average age of a first-time homebuyer is 41 years old. How can a 25, 26, 27, 30-year-old, even an early millennial, think about like buying a house if the average age is 41? This is the first time home buyer. The average first time home buyer is 41 years old. How can a young person get ahead? One of the main reasons that young people feel so locked out of being able to save up and afford a home is wages haven't kept up with the average increase in the prices of homes. In 1985, the median home price, $82,800. The average wage was $23,600. It was roughly about 3.5 years of work to afford a house, roughly about 3.5 times your salary. In 2025, it's almost 5 times your salary. This is just median too. The median salary doesn't. This is household. Sorry, I said salary. This is household income. So when you think about the fact in 1985 too, there were a lot more single income houses versus 2025. There's a lot more dual income houses where that 83,000 isn't even just one person. It could be two people. It could be three people. So the average, like the price, is even worse for the everyday individual because it's over 5 times the average income. And, people, Gen Z, I feel like we barely can afford our rent. We're just trying to kind of get by and make it through with what little extra income we have. That the thought of putting money away and saving up for a down payment seems insane. I mean, some of these houses, if they're $400,000, a 10% down payment is 40 grand. I mean, who's got 40 grand lying around? It's insane. So this is really one of the main issues why that it's so hard for Gen Z to get ahead is that, the wages just haven't, they've been outpaced. They haven't kept up with the increase in the prices of houses. Housing isn't the only area where dollars have lost purchasing power. It's not even just that things are more expensive. It's because there's more dollars. So in turn, they're worth less and they get you less. Everything nowadays seems so expensive. Gas is more expensive, college is more expensive, cars are more expensive, homes are more expensive. It's pervasive in everywhere in society. You feel this debasement. And maybe you haven't been able to put a word on it or put a name to it or know why it's happening and what's going wrong, but everybody can feel it. You can feel that there is something wrong and there's something broken with this system, and this it shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't be so hard to just live a normal life and save your money and spend it when you want to spend it. And it shouldn't be this much of a hurdle for everybody, for every normal individual to get ahead. Why does this happen? Why does this happen? Why does the dollar, or any fiat currency for that matter, continually lose purchasing power year after year? Maybe you knew this existed, but you didn't know why, but you just felt what was wrong. The reason is very, very simple. We've heard of inflation, but why does it actually happen? Inflation is a direct result of monetary debasement. There's more and more dollars in the system, chasing the same houses, the same amount of goods, and the same wages. But dollars can be created by the Fed, by the banks, by the government. When they want to inject a stimulus package, that money doesn't come from nowhere. It's printed. It's willed into existence by decree. That's what the word fiat means. It means by decree. There's no energy or anything backing this money. Gold doesn't even back our money anymore. It used to. But back on that purchasing power chart, when it went off a cliff in 1971, that's when gold stopped being accepted. You couldn't go trade your dollars in for gold anymore. The banks don't have to hold gold anymore to back up the money they have. The money can just exist willy-nilly. Now, what's the issue here? Well, with more and more money being constantly created through these loans, through these banks, it really creates an unfair system where people that are closer to this money printer, people that have access to these really low leverage loans, or I say low leverage, I mean low interest rate loans, right? That not everybody has access to. Maybe if you're a homeowner, you can get special kinds of loans. Maybe if you work for different corporations or have a certain income, you can qualify for different kinds of things, but not everybody can. Normal, everyday people don't profit from money printing the way that the already ahead cantillionaires do. And this cantillionaire effect, it's the idea that the people closer to the money printer benefit first. They get access to this new money, to these new loans, before the effects are felt. This is the crux of the issue. This is the most important reason why this quote unquote wealth gap is widening. It's because the people that have access to this can invest and they can buy assets that don't get debased. But normal, everyday people are getting robbed. By the time, these inflation effects are felt, by the time the people at the bottom get the money, well, the system is already messed up, right? inflation is already on a rampage and it's already increasing the prices of everything. But the reason this happens is because your money can be printed out of thin air and willed into existence by the powers and the centralized banks that control this. That's the one thing, the one problem. It's infinite money, just like monopoly money. Like I mentioned, the people that own assets that have, you know, close access to this money printer and can buy the assets before they inflate and prices go up can compound their wealth over time. In the past, this has been houses, stocks, art, gold, and historically, prices have risen in the past, nominally and in real terms for some things. But people who are just saving their money get robbed. They get robbed by inflation, by this debasement, and this money printing. You're trying to do everything right. You think you're doing everything right by saving and holding your money and not wasting it or not spending it frivolously. Not buying the newest trends or wasting money on food or whatever it may be. But you still are losing because you don't have the assets. And we can't really buy, you can't put $10 into a house. You can't put $100 into a house. What can Gen Z, what can young people do? How can we save if our money is constantly being taken from us through inflation? The way Gen Z and anybody for that matter can get ahead and can save, and the asset we can own is Bitcoin. It fixes the infinite money supply problem. It has a fixed supply cap of 21 million Bitcoin that's enforced by computers all around the world and node operators all around the world. And it's this new global consensus mechanism. It's already shown to be a store of value. Nobody who's held Bitcoin for 4 years has lost money. So it's definitely a long-term store of value. It will evolve into a medium of exchange in the future. It already can be used as one, but it's not widely used or widely accepted. But it will be. And you already can use it as money. Lots of people do. It's a global, decentralized network that relies on individuals coming together and agreeing all around the world. And one of the most beautiful parts about it is it's permissionless. Nobody, no bank, there's no one besides the consensus rules of Bitcoin that can tell you what to do. And this is something that's very freeing and something that can bring a lot of hope and responsibility, and just you feel the freedom when you make a Bitcoin transaction. It's permissionless money that nobody can stop and nobody can debase. It's the best asset for you to save in the future. Why is this so important for Gen Z? Well, in my life, I feel that it's given me this sort of agency and this sort of freedom that I never would have found otherwise. And it really allows you to, you know, take some pride in what you're doing and just live the kind of life you want to live. When you know your money is going to preserve itself in the long run, you can plan out your life. You can do whatever you want to do. Nobody can stop you. There's no control. There's no permission needed. You can be your own bank with a Bitcoin. It can't be inflated away. It can't be debased like all this fiat nonsense is. And nothing can stop you. This is our chance. It's the chance for Gen Z to get in and buy all the cheap assets, get all that cheap Bitcoin, just like the boomers did when they got their houses for 10 grand or 15 grand or whatever it was. And now they're hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars. You can look back in 30, 20, 40. I don't know why I counted backwards. So leave it to the math teacher to not know how to count. 20, 30, 40 years. You look back and your grandkids will be like, dang, Grandpa, you really got the chance to buy Bitcoin under $100,000? You got the chance to buy Bitcoin under $1 million? You got the chance to buy Bitcoin under $10 million? $1 billion? Who knows where it's going? Maybe now I'm being way too hopium. But my point is, this is your chance to get in while it's still relatively cheap, before people know about it. Because once they know, there's no going back. Once you become a Bitcoiner and you live by these values of proof of work and permissionless freedom, it really just changes your life, right? And once you become a Bitcoiner, there's no going back. There's no unlearning this and going back to saving in dollars or stocks or the S&P 500 or real estate. Once you're a Bitcoiner, you're hooked. You can't unlearn this idea of, math-backed money. That's really what this is. One of the most important things about why this is so unique for Gen Z is it's a return to saving. I don't know a lot of people in Gen Z that are saving money and really getting ahead. I feel like they're either caught up in investments and gambling and really, really into it, or completely just trying to get by, have no sort of sense or idea. And I really hope that this Bitcoin and education can be found by anybody, because it can be used by anybody, and anyone can use it to save. You can save your money in something durable, something hard that's not going to be debased, and you can actually get ahead. These dollars that are constantly being debased and printed, they encourage spending. They encourage you to just waste your money on the newest trend or the hottest thing or whatever you want, and without really ever a second thought. But when you have money you believe in that can't be messed with, you can actually lower your time preference and plan things out longer and really give yourself a chance to live a prosperous life. It entirely changed my life and gave me hope for the future. I was a very doomer-minded Gen Z individual. Why is this world like this? How can we ever get ahead? And now I know the answer. It's so simple. It's Bitcoin. That's all you need. We need sound money. We need Bitcoin. If you liked this video, thank you for sticking all the way to the end. Please remember to like and subscribe, and Mr. T will see you guys next time.